things remixers. Thank you all for coming through as usual. Y'all keep showing up and showing out for, dare I say, the best morning show on YouTube. Actually, the best morning show broadcast to be available anywhere. The radio, cable, pick one, streaming services. There's not a morning show that is fucking with this one, but I think you all already know that. So thank you all so much. Please don't forget to give the video thumbs up, like, engage, share, subscribe. Consider. I can't say consider. Kamal said, don't say consider. I'm gonna run y'all pockets. Hey, y'all need to hurry up, become patrons. Y'all already bullshitting on becoming patrons. Patreon. That's right. Run the buck. Don't make Revolutionary Debo come up on here and turn out y'all pockets. Patreon.com/Black Power Media. You can also cash app the channel directly. $Black Power Media. Jackie, I know we've got a lot to get into. We've already got into some things. So where should we go next?
Yes, so let's talk a little bit about this indictment. I know we started the show with it, but you know what? I thought we were going to have someone on this morning to help us pick through this, and let me make sure that person can get on here. Hold on just a moment.
Yeah, because
While
the way Georgia operates, it requires a little bit more explanation for me. I mean, knowing the what we know, the same grand jury that was selected or seated to vote on RICO charges for Trump and his cronies is the same grand jury that voted on this shit.
The exact same grand jury, which means it's the exact same prosecutor, district attorney, whatever. So for years we Black radicals, and let me just start by saying I love the term radical. I don't know why people, because I don't think I think it's misplaced, but since it scares people so much, yes, I am a radical. I want you to be scared of me, because fighting for equality and justice and a just society for all people. If people think that is radical and scary, then maybe you shouldn't be in that society. This is why I probably should not be the one who is in charge of anything in that new society, because of my particular predilection towards certain activities, towards certain people. But we radicals have been telling people for years that there's no such thing as a progressive prosecutor. And if Larry Krasner in Philadelphia didn't disabuse people of that idea, Fannie Willis ought to make it clear that there's no such thing as a progressive prosecutor. They're all prosecutors. They're all pigs. They are not for the people.
Jackie, speaking of radical, let's bring up Ricky Riot.
Hey.
All right. Can we? Oh shit! She's illuminated. Let's go.
I don't know if the mic is on. Is it on?
Yes, it is.
With a microphone.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think it's on.
Oh, no, that one's not on.
So go in your settings and see if you see the mic, if it's listed under your audio. So go in your settings and then hit audio.
No pre-production.
Be quiet, Charlie.
Just come on and get it in the middle of the show.
Be quiet, Charlie.
Don't worry. We got time.
Under the people's radio. I mean, are you helping, Ear Doctor, or are you peanut gallery in this situation? So Ricky, under your settings, under your audio, you should see the microphone named. I don't know what the name of it is, but when you see it, you should select it. So it would be under a drop down. You probably see default, and it'll say computer audio, but you want whatever the microphone is named.
Yeah, and it should be that looks like a Yeti.
You got a Yeti.
Oh, see,
hey, Doctor. See, nobody. Look at this peanut gallery ass shit.
Leave my mare alone. Stop this. Okay, that's pretty funny.
Knock it off. Knock it off, Doctor. You're doing too much. You're doing too much.
Well, I don't know. Unless you can restart your computer, which we don't have time to do, you may not be able to. So let's just go with the computer audio today.
Yeah.
And now we can't
It's
hear you at
muted.
all.
How
Now you
about you get off screen and reboot and come back?
that is the worst voice of God on
It is
earth.
the worst voice of if that were the voice of God, I would be like, I don't take you serious, Lord. You clowning, Jesus.
Oh my goodness. Oh
You
my
are
god.
not the Lord.
Yeah, doctor, you are something else. Let's give Ricky a couple moments to return because I know she's ready to drop some gems on it. But
Mhm.
set it up for us,
Yeah.
Jacqueline.
So I'm looking at now. I have not read the entire indictment because, like I said, I just have not had time to. But the New York Times actually quotes Kamau all the way at the end, like they do, where they talk about the indictment. Excuse me. I'm going to scroll down, scroll down. Oh, so this is the Attorney General Christopher Carr of Georgia. He
Mhm.
says, looking the other way when violence occurs is not an option in Georgia. Really? Because y'all look the other way when the pigs killed Tortuguita.
Okay.
Completely looked the other way when the autopsy revealed that he didn't have a gun, no gunshot residue on his hands, had his hands up, and was even shot in the back. But
Where's the body cam footage from that they claim that they
right. And the
will be
pigs
released?
shot each other
Mm-hmm.
as they were shooting. Yeah, so this is what he said when he announced the indictment. If you come to our state and shoot at a police officer, and shoot a police officer, again, they shot themselves, throw Molotov cocktails at law enforcement. I mean, I'm not mad. Set fire to police vehicles, y'all got insurance. Damaged construction equipment, they also got insurance. Vandalized private homes and businesses, when did that happen?
That didn't
Um,
happen in fucking Georgia, you
it didn't happen.
asshole.
It didn't happen.
No, no,
Flat
no.
out
It
lie.
didn't happen. It did happen in Alabama, but it didn't happen in Georgia.
And terrorize their occupants. You can and will be held accountable. So that's what he said. The American civil liberties are, protesting this thing. They said we are extremely concerned by this breathtakingly broad and unprecedented use of state terrorism, anti-racketeering, and money laundering laws against protesters. This is a statement from a representative of the American Civil Liberties Union. And this is what I wanted to get to: the RICO indictment. In the RICO indictment, prosecutors traced the roots of the campaign back to almost a year before city officials announced the leasing of the land to build the training center. They traced it back to May 25th, 2020, the day George Floyd, a Black man, was killed by a Minneapolis police officer, touching off demonstrations across the country, including some in Atlanta. Those tensions only intensified after Rayshard Brooks, a 27-year-old Black man, was fatally shot by the Atlanta police outside a fast food restaurant.
In his back while he was running away.
Right. Anti-government anarchists in Atlanta recognized an opportunity to rally against the law enforcement.
What?
Understand what they're saying. They have just completely dismissed that. Now, the Attorney General just said, if you shoot at a police officer, you'll be held accountable. If you terrorize people, you'll be held accountable. But in this RICO indictment, they completely dismissed the public execution of Black men by law enforcement and have now criminalized the response to those public executions as domestic terrorism, which in effect criminalizes the Black men who were killed by the police. So we can't be angry and respond to the state for extrajudicial murders of our people, or else, and if we do, we are engaging in a racketeer influenced corrupt operation. That's what these people are saying. Prosecutors described the movement to interfere with the construction called Defend the Atlanta Forest as broad, decentralized, and autonomous. But in the indictment, prosecutors claimed that it had evolved into a broader anti-government, anti-police, and anti-corporate extremist organization. Remember when we talked about all those pieces of legislation that were passed supposedly to address domestic terrorism, and people were sitting online talking about, well, now the federal government is finally going to go after the white supremacists. Why did you think that? Why did you think that? That has that when that happened one time in this country's history, when the FBI kind of couldn't help but finally do something about the Klan because they were literally killing too many Black folks for them to keep ignoring it. So Ricky's back. And child, let me go to the end of this article. Prosecutors relied on RICO because it enables them to stitch together seemingly disparate accusations and an array of people linked by their association to a criminal conspiracy or enterprise. If the Constitution of this United States says that we have a right to protest and redress our government, how does that then become a criminal conspiracy? Unless, of course, the Constitution doesn't apply to certain people, and it never has.
Yes.
Right.
All that part.
At the end, all the way at the end, they quote Kamau and says, when he says, "This is meant to send a message," said Kamau Franklin, an organizer for Stop Cop City. And he ended with, "Be scared."
Right.
Shit.
So to answer your question, Kim, if they in Atlanta, if the so-called progressive prosecutor Fannie Willis could do this, because this was not something she was not involved in. Same grand jury that indicted Trump handed down these indictments. None of us are safe. But the point is that none of us have ever been safe.
Right.
So, Ricky.
Yeah. Is it better? I don't know. I can't tell.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay.
Here we go.
Right. Well, shout out to Kim because, I always say bullying and shaming works. So I got my light and my mic. But no, that indictment, I've been telling folks to study that indictment, but I've been telling folks to study it the same way I tell folks to read the manifestos, study all these indictments, particularly because we want to be informed around the language that's being used. So that way, when we are speaking to people, we know exactly what we're speaking to and about. What I do think has happened as a result of telling people, read the indictment, people have seen the way that they have redefined certain terms like collectivism and anarchism even. They made anarchism very broad. Even mutual aid, they're defining it in such a way that it's making folks nervous about organizing or how to organize. So there's now conversations, I think sort of misguided conversations around security and what does it mean to be secure? Because if we read the indictment, they've been tracking folks for years. So I feel like to abruptly attempt an about face at this moment is counterproductive. And it's working out of fear. And we don't want to put ourselves in a position as organizers to organize out of fear or to organize in reaction to what the state is doing, because the state is always doing something, especially when we have not built a mass base yet. We're still organizing to build a base that can, combat that reactionary tendencies of the state. So we don't want people to be scared, but we do want people strategically to be aware of the language that's being used, because we know what mutual aid is. We know what collectivism is. So the state's ability to redefine those terms impacts the way that we are able to organize. So we want to be able to say, look at what the state is saying about mutual aid, and you see us out here every day. Is this what we're doing? You see us doing this? Like, that's the way that we want to engage community, not pull all the way back because we don't know what's going to happen down the line. And then these RICO charges are not something that are new, quote unquote, to the movement. I mean, from Marcus Garvey to Martin Luther King to the Black Panthers, they have always used tax evasion or tax fraud or something that has to do with that sort of criminality of like what is it, like organized mob work or escaping, because they can't attack our actual organizing, so they are trying to find ways around that. So people have to be acutely aware of that and be prepared. And I think I want to recommend Safari Bakari's chapter in The War Before on security, because I think that really helps us understand the ways that we think that we're securing ourselves by cutting ourselves off from the people because we don't know who to trust, when we are just blatantly giving all our stuff away every other day. You know, all our information is everywhere. But when it comes to interacting within the movement, we're like, I don't know if I should tell you this or tell you that. So I think there's ways that Safari Bakari really speaks to the ways that we really should and can address security, because you know that this is the message. The message is to be scared. And as Renee noted, you know, Cop City, they're looking to build one miles up the road from the one they're already building in Atlanta. So they're trying to put more than one in Atlanta. And Charlotte has already approved. And Renee talked about Newark and Portland. And we are now working around strategizing how to stop it here in Baltimore. So this is something that is going to continuously pop up. I think I noted the last time I was here that I think this has always been a plan of action. And what 2020 did was halt it to some degree. And you could see, as they're noting, 2020 being an integral moment for all of these organizations and organizers, that really put a dent in their plans. So they are now trying to move forward with whatever they were doing before 2020. And that's evident in marking 2020 as the beginning of this like, you know, corporate. Well, I don't really know what they're trying to call it. They're trying, well, you know, with the RICO charges is like the mob sort of language around it. But they are trying to make it like this is something that has been this organized thing that sprouted up because of the uprising to be an anti-state, anti-government issue. But the leader of the Proud Boys, that African or part African, now got
Enrique Tarrio.
Yeah, the longest of all of them, the longest sentence of all of them. But then also that wasn't domestic terrorism.
How about that?
Right. And that's a great point. I'm glad you brought up Enrique Tarrio, Ricky, because, and I'm not sure if the same judge sentenced Tarrio is sentenced the other two who were sentenced last week, but the prosecutors asked for more time for the other two, Pizzola and whatever the other one's name is, and the judge said that sentencing them to more time than the other defendants had been sentenced to would not serve any, would be unfair. But then here comes Enrique Tarrio and gets sentenced. So they get sentenced. The two white guys get sentenced to like 15 and 16 years, I think, in prison, something like that. But then Tarrio gets sentenced to 22. And this is not a, a cry, Tarrio was a free Enrique Tarrio. No, that's not what the point is. Even in dealing with actual domestic terrorists, the black descended folks, if you they go, So he couldn't even use the cover of nationalist extremism that propelled him to the leadership of the Proud Boys to protect him from this white supremacist carceral state, because he got more time and he wasn't even there. He wasn't there.
He wasn't even
more time than the mugs that was there.